So we are going to get into this with as little editing as possible. This is going to be a natural makeup look to just enhance your natural look without looking too much like you have makeup on. Who knows, maybe you have a job interview or you really want to look good when you go to the event or club. First thing we're going to start out with is primer. Oop. That just popped right out of there. You don't need that much of it, like even this is like a lot. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. And you just wanna spread it around, not rub it like lotion, but you like wanna press it in as you spread it. And this is gonna help the foundation and everything just stick because you don't want it to move anywhere. So when this is in, good and pressed in, I usually like to let it sit for a little bit, but since we're rushing through it, I have a setting spray. This is also a prep spray. This is the Morphe Continuous Prep and Set Mist. I like to spray that over this. And I feel that helps with the hold. We have a fan that I like to use to dry it up. Okay, now that that's done, we move on to the next step, which is, for me, foundation. I use, if it's not a very important event I'm going to, just every day, I use the L'Oreal Infallible Wear Powder Foundation. I don't use a liquid foundation unless it's like a event or something, because I don't like, the less you have on, especially for an oily skin type like me, the better. So I take this powder puff and I'll mix it in, get it good on there, and you just start patting it in. Now, a little goes a surprisingly long way, but you just really want to get it worked in. And sometimes I put it in places that I don't normally put it, but it's just for the sake of this. As my life is spiraling out of control, and my makeup techniques shall also. I've been practicing by putting makeup on almost every day for the past, I don't know, month and a half, because I was looking at pictures and I'm like, this looks like it can do better. So this brings me like peace and serenity. It's a little therapeutic. And try and cover up a little around here because I didn't shave down my facial hair. If you have more facial hair, you just generally want to avoid putting the makeup in the, you want to avoid putting it into the facial hair spots. All right, so that's the foundation. Then I do concealer. This is just a cheap concealer from Ulta. And for concealer, I'm a little weird, so I do a little bit here. I don't do too much. A little bit here. A little here, here. And I always do like a little line down the nose. Sometimes I do a bit there. And to cover up the little bit of facial hair, or at least make it a little less prevalent, I like to put a little there and there. It's just, it's a weird thing I do, trust me. Trust the process. So for this, I use a sponge, and I take the setting spray. I like to get it nice and moist for this process, and I just tend to work it in around the under eye especially, and I spread it up a little bit, and I try and get all of it. Whew. I've gotten this down to a science. It used to take me forever to do this because I wasn't too sure about the tools that I was using. So I'd always be sitting around, you know, just kind of like twiddling my thumbs. But now I know exactly what I'm looking for. And that's what's going to help you speed things up. You have to practice, figure out what works for you, Doing this is for my oily skin, so like if you have dry skin, you're gonna need a slightly different, more hydrating process. Okay, so I'd say this is blended enough. And to be honest, like this is enough, I guess, for a natural look. It just covers up a lot of blemishes, evens out your complexion, makes it look, you know, normal. I go one step further and I use an eyebrow pencil. I like the ones that like have this little thick end here. I like these because like they get down to business. And I'm pretty sure my technique isn't the best, but I like to thicken my brow, especially around the edges where it starts to thin out. Just give that appearance of thick brow. I'm gonna turn it around and do this side. I should probably actually trim my brows to where both of them present at least a similar shape, but I am a little lazy and afraid that I might just cut off all of my eyebrows, and that would be a very weird look. So after I'm done with that, I take the brush end and just brush it out, brush it out, brush it out. And I know some people might have trouble buying makeup, but one thing I tend to do, at least when I started, ooh, could probably use like a little Q-tip there. I might have went a little too high. One thing that I did when I started purchasing makeup, social anxiety, I went to a town over where pretty much no one knew me, and it was really easy. And you just go in, you just ask, you know, for help matching your foundation or stuff like that. Don't be afraid, because like nobody knows you there. And then eventually you just get brave enough to go to the shops in your own town, and you're just like, I don't care. At some point you just stop caring. You just want to get your products, you want to look good, especially if you like cosplay or something. You're gonna figure out what you want, and you're gonna be able to go in there and ask for it. So after all this, usually if I'm doing like an event or something, I'll take some powder and set the under eye area or whatnot. It brightens it up a little bit, but I'm not going to an event really, and it's rainy, so I don't care. I usually use that puff pad that I use for the foundation for this, but for touch-ups and whatnot, I use like a little kabuki brush. I get some on there, I like tap it off. Still like a lot of product, and I just try and like, I start out by pressing it into the main areas that gets oily, which is around my nose and the cheeks, and I dust the rest off everywhere else. A little bit goes a long way, and I know it leaves like a little bright veil over you, but we're gonna fix that in just a second. Make sure that's all dusted out. And another thing I like to do sometime, give me just a moment, this is a tinted lip balm. I tend to get really dry lips sometimes, so this one's dark because, you know, dark skin, and you just give a little Now, this is to restore some of the color to the lips. It will get a little bit, you know, fade a little bit over the day, but it helps establish that there definitely was color on your lips. And this finish up with our setting mist. We're just gonna God, I don't know how much is left in there. That thing feels so light, but it always does. So like, you're gonna be like a little juicy. I'm gonna make sure none of it's running. I guess I did my primer right. That's perfect. I'm gonna take the fan. And with that, we have, okay, hold on a second. Let me pick you up for a second. Oh yeah, that's great. So now our blemishes. Our complexion is a lot more even, and we look good. We just need to pick out the hair a little bit, and we're ready for the day. I will be uploading another video that I will probably link on this video that shows you how to touch up the makeup in the middle of the day, because if you're an oily skin type, you're gonna go through the day and you're gonna start to get juicy, and you're gonna want some tips on how to touch that up. So definitely come check out that video.